Here. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to welcome you to tonight's Common Council meeting. It is Wednesday, February 19th, and it is 6:30 p.m. And Susan, if I could have a roll call, please.
Finkler. Here. Hammer is not, he is absent. Lawson.
Here.
Motive.
Present.
Motive is attending via Zoom tonight. Reed.
Here.
Relke.
Here.
Rostad.
Here.
Okay. If you would join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I acknowledge this meeting was posted and noticed according to law.
Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda, and I would take a motion for same.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. I will open the floor to public comment at this time. And is there anybody signed up, Susan? Perfect. Jared, come on up. And there you go. Nope, it just got turned off again. I'm sorry. The- There it is. Oh, we'll give it a minute. While it's thinking about it, I'll read this proclamation, I guess. I do have a proclamation by the State Superintendent of Public Instruction designating this week as 2025 Adult Crossing Guard Recognition Week. Whereas Wisconsin's adult school crossing guards provide an invaluable service in helping to ensure the safe passage of our youngest, most vulnerable pedestrians, children walking between home and school. And whereas adult school crossing guards serve with a dedication that overcomes the rigors of split shifts, heavy traffic, and they stand strong, enduring in the face of sweltering heat, bitter cold, blowing snow, and heavy rainfall. And whereas adult school crossing guards have, for more than 5 decades, served Wisconsin communities to make them more secure, providing a safe path to learning for children. And whereas adult school crossing guards are often the first to greet our students and the last to say goodnight, they do this all with a mission focused on helping students safely navigate city streets, country roads, and highways. And whereas adult school crossing guards help reinforce safety in the minds of young people, they highlight the importance of traffic hazard identification and safe street crossing behavior, and therefore be it resolved that I, Jill K. Underlay, State Superintendent of Public Instruction, declare the week of February 17th through 21st, 2025, Adult School Crossing Guard Recognition Week, a time to recognize and thank the many adult school crossing guards whose commitment make a difference in the lives of children in Wisconsin's schools. Proclaimed the week of February 17th through 21st, 2025, Jill K. Underlay. Thank you also to the men and women who serve Columbus as adult crossing guards as well. Jared?
Awesome. Thank you. Jared Fox, 104 Tower Drive. I just wanted to stop tonight and give a little bit of a comment on the Fred Dart thing that you guys are hopefully going to vote on a little later on. Matt Erkey's at a parent-teacher conference, so he asked me to talk. So members of the Columbus Fire Department would like all you to vote yes regarding the Fred Dart Day in the city of Columbus. For those that didn't know Fred Dart, he was joined the fire department December 17th, 1963. He was promoted to captain in 1973, assistant chief in 1975, and June 23rd, 1998, Fred was promoted to chief of the fire department, where he served till September 5th, 2001. After stepping down as chief, Fred continued to serve fire inspector and a firefighter. Fred retired from the department in 2014. He dedicated his life to the citizens of Columbus, the fire department, for 51 years in this profession, which is pretty amazing. The fire department recognizes years of service for 10, 20, 30, and 40 years. 40 years we give the men and women a big gold axe. We've never had somebody hit 50 years. It wasn't until Scott a couple years ago started entering in data back for what people that were on the department that we realized, we really messed up and missed Fred in 2014. So we're trying to think of what we could do, and we thought anybody, whether it's fire department, city clerk, treasurer, anybody within the city, if they can do 50 years in one city, that's pretty unremarkable and unheard of. So we're hoping that you folks will look at this, and any department can do this, but we're coming for you for the fire department. And we ask for March 20th because it's National Frogs Day. And anybody that doesn't know Fred Dart, whenever you asked him, how are you doing, he would always say finer than frog's hair. So we thought that would be a wonderful tie-in with Fred Dart, honoring the late Fred Dart, honoring his family, who he gave so much time to. So as everybody knows, and Chief Rosted, you were on for honorary years, you drop everything at a moment's notice. Birthday parties, dinner, family functions, no matter what, when the tones go off, we're there to respond. So we know he left his family many of times, and probably missed some birthday parties and some Christmases. And so we thought, what better way than to honor somebody of 50 years, and we wish we could have did it while he was here, but we still want to honor him now. So again, I hope that every department head looks at it and goes, anybody not just the fire department, if they can be here 50 years, I think it's truly a great honor, but right now we ask for it for the fire department. So thank you for your time, and please vote yes.
Is there anyone in attendance who wanted to speak during public comment who did not get a chance to sign up? Okay. Next on the agenda is the consent agenda. I would look for a motion to pass that.
So move.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay, the consent agenda passes. Under ordinances, we do have consider and take action on ordinance 798-25, an ordinance to repeal and recreate section 102-86 related to the appointment of the utility director, which appeared at the COW on 2/4/25. And I think we need to waive the.
Suspend the rules.
Okay,
And waive the readings.
so I'm looking for a motion to suspend the rules.
I'll move to suspend the rules.
Second?
I have a motion and a second to suspend the rules. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Next, we would need a motion to waive the reading.
Alder Motif will make a motion to waive the reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Any opposed? Okay. So then I would look for a motion to approve ordinance 798-25, an ordinance to repeal and recreate section 102-86 related to the appointment of the utility director.
Alder Motif will make a motion to, they changed it on my screen, sorry guys. Alder Motif will make a motion to repeal ordinance 798-25 and recreate section 102-86 related to the appointment of the utility director.
Roll call. I need a second for those, don't I? Okay.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Motive.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Relke.
Aye.
Reed. Aye. Rostad.
Aye.
Finkler. Aye. Ayes have it.
First, under new business, consider and take action on resolution number 3-25, a resolution establishing March 20th as Fred Dart Day in the city of Columbus, Wisconsin.
I'll move to approve resolution number 3-25, a resolution establishing March 20th as Fred Dart Day in the city of Columbus, Wisconsin.
Reed seconds.
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Ryan?
This is changed from the last time, so it's the way we want it this time, correct? The way it should have been presented the first time, I'm assuming.
That's correct.
Thank you.
The change was made based on the feedback at the last meeting.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, that passes. Thank you. Next item is to consider and take action on award of quote for Chevy Silverado 2500 from Napleton Chevrolet in the amount of $46,942.
Motion to approve the purchase of a Chevy Silverado through Napleton for the amount of $46,942 as presented in the packet.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Reed.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Motive.
Aye.
Finkler.
Aye.
Rilke.
Aye.
Lawson.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Okay. And next is to consider and take action on claims in the amount of $131,475.57.
I'll move to pay the claims in the amount of $131,475.57.
Second.
Motive seconds.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Okay, hearing none, may I have a roll call, please?
Lawson.
Aye.
Rostad.
Aye.
Reed.
Aye.
Finkler.
Aye.
Rilke.
Aye.
Motive.
Aye.
Ayes have it.
Next is report of city officers. Matt?
Just briefly share, Mike Kornman, myself, and Council President Rolke had the opportunity to meet with Senator Sarah Kieski today. Kind of just gave an overview of kind of the hot button issues with the city of Columbus, really trying to create a relationship. It's a newly created district that includes Columbus, and it was a very productive, good meeting that I think will lead to future opportunities for collaboration and work with the state. Also share, I will be attending the Wisconsin City County Management Association Annual Conference next week, Wednesday through Friday. So, but that's all I have. Thank you.
I think all that's left is a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any
Aye.
opposed? Okay, we are adjourned. Does anybody mind rolling right into the next one? Okay. In that case, I would like to welcome you all to the Committee of the Whole meeting, Wednesday, February 19th. And could I please have a roll call, Susan?
Finkler.
Here.
Hammer is absent. Lawson.
Here.
Motive.
Present.
Reed.
Here.
Relke.
Here.
Rostad.
Here.
I acknowledge this meeting was also posted and noticed according to law.
Okay, thank you. First item on the agenda is to approve the agenda, and I will take a motion for same.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the agenda has been approved. Is there, it's not on here, but is there? Okay, beautiful. Oh, yes, there is. In that case, department reports for file included with the packet tonight are fire from 1 of 25 and library from 1 of 25. And on public comment, I have David Stira.
Hey, good evening, everybody. Just wanted to take a couple of minutes, express first our appreciation to Matt and Mike, who we've been working with for a couple of months now on a project. At their suggestion, we wanted to share some news and let you know that Brian and I have purchased the Tremont building downtown. So that closed on January 15th. Our plan for that is to put apartments on the top 2 floors and commercial space on the ground floor, and overall to turn the lights back on one of Columbus's landmarks. As you know, we're passionate about historic preservation, and we can assure you that it's going to be done right? But at the same time, as you know, these things will not be cheap. This isn't intended to be a money-making venture. To that end, you're going to see us apply to a variety of state and municipal funding opportunities to include things like TIF money, facade grant, and a state CDI grant. So again, we're not looking to make a ton of money on this. Neither of us is going to be able to quit our day jobs. And the best, most rosy situation or outcome of this project is that we break even. All right, but we're doing this because we think it's the right thing to do, and we found a good and willing partner in the building's former owner, who we've built a good relationship with. So all we ask is that if you have questions in reviewing the applications that we're going to put forward that you're going to see across your desk, that you please ask. We're visible around town. I mean, we live 5 blocks away. You all have our names and phone numbers at this point. And if you don't, you can ask Matt or Mike. All right, but all we ask is that if you want to see the big scary spreadsheet where I show all the numbers of everything that we're going to do and why we actually need public funding for this, happy to show you and introduce you to the hell that's been that spreadsheet for the last couple of months. In any case, just wanted to let everybody know that, Mike and Matt were pretty eager to have us share this news with the council, so we thought we'd take some time out of our day to do that. And in closing, we just kind of want to say that this is a bet on Columbus, and we are hoping that you are along with us for the project. So, as I said, any questions, please ask us. We're around, we're visible, and fingers crossed that June 2026, we have people moving in. Thanks.
Thank you. And once again, was there anybody else who wanted to speak but didn't get a chance to sign up? Okay. Next item under new business is discussion of washer extractor for fire department. Matt? Oh, Scott.
Hello. A few weeks ago, we had our washer extractor at the fire station go down. What we use that for is we wash firefighters' gear to get the carcinogens out of it that cause cancer. And it went down. I got a service person, found the dealer for Unimac, which was in Illinois, come up, and the control panel on it was bad, and they couldn't find one all over the nation. They had one they thought in New York, but they couldn't. But we found out kind of hard when your washer is from 1993. So, among other things, it just got old, and so. We got bids that'd be in your paperwork. We got 3 of them. One from McQueen, 35-pound washer extractor at $6,800, and then we would have to dispose of the old washer, and that's a soft mount. Difference between a soft mount and a hard mount is a soft mount is actually it's a plug and play. You can just set it down. It's like your washer at home. Plug it in. It's a 110 connection. And it's ready to go. So that was $6,800 for that. And I investigated my full-time job is sales, checked with McQueen why the price is so much different for fire safety, and being a 5-pound heavier washer, able to take 5 more pounds. And they bought a bunch of them, and they have them in stock in one of their warehouses in Minnesota. So fire safety is a 30-pound, 5 pounds less. That's another plug and play. It's a soft mount. Not including a soft base, so that would be $81.79. And then people that are the dealers for Unimac, they quoted us a 30-pound washer extractor, and that was $92.46. That's a 220 connection. So that's what we currently have, a hard mount and a 220 connection, but we have a 110 outlet like a foot away from it, so it wouldn't be that big of a deal. The only thing we would have to do was the soft mounts. The price with Alliance Systems, they would actually install the washer and dispose of the old one. So I talked to DPW and said they would pick up the old washer and take it down to DPW in their dumpster. So I'm recommending that we go with 6804 with the McQueen. We get it in a week.
Does anybody have any questions? Alder Rosted?
I guess I have 2 questions. With the new purchasing policy, why did this come to the cow?
It's an unbudgeted item. The purchasing policy doesn't allow department heads or myself to purchase something that's non-budgeted.
Perfect. And then I see Taz is called out, so HVAC for electrical, and SNS is contracted for electrical through the city, correct?
Yes.
What's with Taz?
Under action requested, the last line says we have to go through TAS to, for the electrical work is what I'm assuming, what TAS is.
To my knowledge, there's no known electrical work. I think that's just a typo or an error. Correct, Scott?
No, we gotta go from a 220 to a 110.
You just said there's a 110.
There's a
foot
110
away.
outlet a foot away from the 220.
I think it was just, I think that was inadvertently included in the memo. Or we may have discovered that there was a 1-ton outlet
That's
close by since the memo was written.
Alder Reed?
Oh, no, the McQueen sounds like it'll be a good source. I was just wondering, do we know what kind of like brand name we might be getting? Or?
It's through the Circle Air Corp. That they're getting out of it. They actually, they have somebody build them. They put their name on it. So, and McQueen sells. They're the sales rep company for that brand. And it's kind of funny because I know it goes through. I think Groves, with the other soft mount, actually buys the same washer from Circle Air Corp, and then they put Groves on it.
Thank you. I was just curious.
Yes.
I figured it had to be a sub-brand with a name, because every time I tried looking up a McQueen extractor washer, it kept bringing up Speed Queen, which is very different.
She shot me an email. I got it to you. Yeah.
Thank you.
Alder Lawson?
Yeah, so considering this is a health and safety concern, how do we fast track it and not have to wait 2 weeks for this to come back?
Thank you.
I think very similarly to how the police, last police vehicle was purchased at the COW, you kind of gave the blessing to place the order, knowing that, it would still come back on March 4th for the official council approval, but that if I remember correctly, COW gave the blessing to place the order, and I'm sure you can provide the same direction to Scott tonight.
That would be great.
As long as, Paul, are you comfortable with that?
I'm comfortable in that we did it a couple weeks ago or a couple months ago, as you just indicated. So as long as the council is rather unanimous in its approach, then I think it's okay to do that.
And that would be great too, because as you have heard us, the sirens are going off pretty steady. So we're busy. We're ahead of last year's schedule already, and whether it's we're going to other communities and helping them, and they're coming here. There's quite a few people need their gear washed.
Is everybody comfortable with moving it forward and also issuing approval to do the purchase now?
Yes.
All right,
So you okay with the 6804 then?
yes,
Okay. All right. Thank you.
thank you. Next item for discussion is discussing task order 2025-01 with Rupert Milkie for 2025 street maintenance program. Jason?
Thank you. Yeah, so for you today is kind of our annual street maintenance task order that you guys do the budgeting for the maintenance side of the street repairs. With this, it is unique because it is an odd year, so odd numbered year. So what happens is we have to rate the streets per the DOT requirements, and that is included in here. So again, you have 28 miles worth of streets that we have to rate and certify to get your state funding for your local road aid. So that's part of the effort here. And then lastly, we did include a cost in here to apply for a LRIP grant. We are planning in 26 per the capital budget to do West School Street reconstruction. The LRIP grant cycle kind of syncs up with it, and what we had discussed at the staff level is to prepare an application for a discretionary grant, which could fund up to $500,000. We did get that grant in 2020 for the Hibbert Street project, which was pretty significant. You are competing across the state, so the percentage is not as high as we'd like it to be, but we feel like this project hits a lot of the boxes because of the school and pedestrian safety being approximate to this, and some of the other things that we're doing on this project. So we'd like to get your blessing to apply for that grant and see if we can hopefully offset some of the costs, because that will be a fairly large project, if you recall, from the capital improvement plan. So we kind of threw that in here just because it was streets related, and that gives us kind of the authority to get ahead and submit it. The grant is not due until later on this year, and it'll be likely announced late fall. And hopefully we can get that under contract if we are successful in time for the bidding and awarding of the project next spring. So just kind of understanding what the grant was and why it was in here, and that's slightly different than what we've had before with the annual street maintenance contract. So any questions on the components?
Yeah, I noticed in here there was a mention of if one grant's awarded, the other you have to decline. Are there two LRIP grants or?
Yeah, so what we're going to do, and this was the same trick we used last time, and I won't call it a trick, but we don't want to preclude. There's actually a LRIP grant that we would apply for that is issued on the local side or on the county side. I think they call it an entitlement grant, and so that generally, I think for Columbus historically has ran $17,000 to $20,000. I mean, and that's pretty much, if we apply, we can get that. It's not a given, but it's a much higher percentage. But you can't accept both. You can apply to both, but you can't accept both. So what we did last time is we applied to both, and then when we were awarded the discretionary, the higher grant, we then declined the entitlement grant, which was the smaller amount. So we would like to do the same process again, because then hopefully we can get awarded even the smaller grant if we don't get the larger one, and get some benefit from the effort here. So thank you.
Are there any other questions? Is everybody comfortable moving that forward?
Yes.
Okay. Next item is discussion regarding development of a snow and ice control policy. Matt?
So this has been on my list of, things that I wanted to look at. Because as we've talked about, it's always good to have a policy and a process that kind of spells things out. And there was some discussion late last week as we were preparing the agenda about having discussion about related to snow emergencies on the agenda. So I kind of combined the two things and placed this. I will state that most of what is in this policy is kind of our current practice of how we do snow removal, with prioritizing removal between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m., keeping mains, arterial streets open during a snow event, and then trying to clean everything up over the night hours when traffic is less. Safer operation tends to be the kind of method that most cities utilize for snow removal. So happy to answer any questions. Normally when placing a policy like this on, I would have not just put in other communities. I would have tried to edit it, but based on timing, I've started to work on the edits that need. There's a lot of things in here that'll come out, but it provides a good foundation to start a discussion, if nothing else.
Alder Lawson?
So you mentioned that most of this is our practice now. Is it, we just don't have it documented as a policy or procedure in here?
Correct.
Okay.
Alder Rostad?
So is there a way we can get like hours listed to alleviate the problem we're having, that residents are getting tickets? I know we had the discussion, it could be an enforcement issue, but
yeah, as we talked last week, I think the challenge is, we're issuing a snow emergency anytime there's more than 2 inches of snow. As everyone in the room knows, being a meteorologist is the greatest or worst job in the world, whichever way you want to look at it. It's like I've told kids that play baseball, being a 300 hitter, you fail 7 out of 10 times and you're considered great. Kind of like meteorologists are the same thing. You don't know if we're getting I love when you get the 3 to 8 inch snow forecast, and it's like, throw a dart at the dartboard kind of a situation. And so when we issue that snow emergency, we're preparing for worst case scenario, and oftentimes we're seeing less snow. I feel like that's kind of except for Saturdays that came out of nowhere, it's usually over forecast and under deliver. But then Saturday happens and we got, way more snow than anyone was really talking about on Saturday. So I think the challenge becomes you're preparing for worst case scenario and people are getting upset because they're not allowed to park on residential neighborhood streets because of the snow emergency, and we're only getting 2 inches of snow. The minute we get greater amounts of snow, the crews are going to clear those streets. It's fortunate that they're able to do it over the night hours, but we also don't want, significant snowfalls accumulating on those residential streets. So what I talked with Ryan a little bit about last week is, in these situations, maybe there's something we add in here that says if plows are not plowing residential street, that the police department will not enforce, but it gets into this gray area that unfortunately Chief Weiner's been out of the office and haven't had an opportunity to discuss this with him. And obviously we've got time. I have a feeling hopefully by March 4th, we don't have snow on the ground. I know, wishful thinking, but the weather forecast, I knocked. But the weather forecast seems more favorable as it's supposed to warm up after a really couple of cold days here. And hopefully a majority of the snow is behind us. But this is something that we can work and have in place and work through so that heading into hopefully next snow season, we've got, a better process in place.
Yeah, I guess I would just like a little back history of why, if you could find out why they went away from November 1st through April 1st, no parking on the street from hours to hours for snow. Why did we jump to a snow emergency? And what dictated the snow emergency conversation to get to that point? Because obviously that's the biggest issue.
I have a question for you, Ryan. Are you meaning alternate side street parking or just no parking at all?
No, there's no parking at my current employment. They're not allowed to park on the street, any street from 3 a.m. to 5 a.m. That's when we're doing our work. Columbus used to be 10 a.m. or 10 p.m. to 6 a.m. You couldn't park on the street if there was snow in the winter from November through April, no matter what, snow or no snow. It was a cut and dry policy, and now we have a policy that's, I shouldn't say a policy, but we have you can park on the street until a snow emergency's enacted, but if you're not in the residential plowing, people are getting tickets because they're cleaning their driveway because they don't want to drive on it. We shouldn't be issuing citations to residents for clearing their driveway before they pull in to park. This is my issue. And I think that some of the residents' issues as well, but no one's here to speak as a resident, so I'm just voicing my concern.
The only response I would say is it sounds like the past practice was more restrictive than the current practice.
Mm-hmm.
It also was not uniformly enforced back then. They would tell you straight out, you might get a warning, you might get a ticket, you might get nothing if there's not an active snow situation.
Mm-hmm. I would worry about parking too.
Just
not parking at all winter?
I'm going to speculate, and some of you will laugh at this, that it seems like when I was younger and enjoyed snow more, we got more of it. And as we've gotten less and less snow, it almost makes sense to apply a rule like this when we have a snow event as opposed to it having a winter-long, impact. Because we spent most of this winter with no snow.
Yeah, I think and I did see that complaint about the parking while cleaning the driveway. I think it might be a conversation more for maybe Chief Weiner and the police department and using some discretion over us changing our policy. But that's just my thoughts. If it truly was the situation where vehicle was still running and they're clearing their driveway actively and, then that might be more of a personnel conversation, potentially. Being a kind city police officer conversation.
Any other questions, comments? Alder Reed?
Oh, thank you. Yes, I definitely prefer the current policy of sticking with snow events and having the city streets be available to people for most of the year. And I agree with Molly on just having that conversation of if the cleaning amendment is in progress, then maybe think about a warning instead. But that's just a conversation. That's not a us policy.
Is everyone comfortable continuing to move forward with development of a policy? Okay. Matt, do you have what you need from us right now?
Yeah, I mean, my plan is going to be obviously to share this with more of our public works staff, get their input, meet with Chief Weiner and other representatives from the police department, and, you know, how we move towards implementing this policy and making sure it's best fit for Columbus.
Okay, thank you. In that case, I think all we need left is a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you, everybody.